Hello, hello, you beautiful people. How are you guys doing today? We'll be doing a breakdown of traits today. And as we break down traits, let's talk about two units specifically that are a bit of outliers. Let's talk about Ariel. His exclusive skill scales off of HP. In my opinion, you'll want to roll him on HP traits. These are far from ideal, but that's that kind of goes to show how little Ariel has usage. So if you want to buff his shield, I'd say roll HP traits. He'll have niche usage in Conquest as a third team filler as a tank for guild versus guild. You could run him on crit rate traits as well if you do want this attack down buff. Early game players, I'd say a mix of either is absolutely fine. You could also throw in evasion if you'd like as well. Ophelia is the next one. So she primarily is run on evasion traits from what I've seen from a lot of late game players. As the primary tank for Naraka and is one of the best units for PvP, you do want her to dodge as many attacks as possible. So especially for Naraka, it'll help with survivability and consistency in her runs. And for PvP, because the damage is so front-loaded, a lot of players are just using evasion anyways. I'm running Goofy, HP, and defense traits because I do want to test them, but most players will be running evasion, and if anyone asked, evasion would be my recommendation as well. And units like Rena, Harmonia, these support type units, I'd say just run them on full crit rate. You're not going to really benefit from crit damage or attack just because they're doing peanut damage anyways. So for those two units, I'd say crit rate will be absolutely fine. But let's talk about our main DPS units. There's been a big discussion between a mix of crit rate, crit damage, or even attack traits versus full crit rate traits. So for Trinity, this took me 1.2 million dice to get this set. And I think that that was fairly decent luck. It took me 600k dice to get the first four, and then after that, it took me another 600k to get the other. So it's very, very expensive for this kind of investment. In terms of the damage, before these traits, when she had mixed traits, she was hitting about 28T. With full crit rate traits, she's hitting about 29T. I'd say that's enough where it could just be chalked up to random variance. It doesn't look like there's a huge difference in my eyes. So in terms of the amount of investment versus the damage return that you're getting, I'd say just getting a mix of crit rate and crit damage is fine. If you wanted to be a little pickier, you could roll the first 2 or 3 traits for crit rate and then roll for crit damage, crit rate, and attack afterwards. But let's do an example really quick with Jean. So I have her on absolutely buns traits here, and I like to roll for attack, crit damage, and crit rate. I think attack generally is not looked on too fondly, and I probably agree. I just don't mind having any extra offensive stats because of how little dice we do get in the game. And for the first 4 or 5 rolls, I'd say for most players, 4 is probably the best bet. Try to roll for max legend traits. So don't settle for these lower traits because right here, the max crit damage you can get is 40%. If you're rolling the bottom roll for each of these, you're missing out on about 32% on the higher end, right? So especially when these are cheapest. So right now, when we're rolling for all 7, it's 10 dice. If you're rolling for the last 2, it gets exponentially more expensive. And especially if you're rolling for the last, it's a nightmare. I know that especially these traits open up as you get more stars for your units. So if you're a newer player or if it's a unit with low investment, I'd say it's fine to roll for max for 1, 2, or 3 traits. It gets a little bit more difficult because as you do get more stars, it just becomes that much more difficult to get the better rolls, and you're rolling 1 trait at a time, so that can be pretty expensive. My recommendation would be to start from your highest DPS units and work your way down. I know that, especially for free-to-play or low spenders, you should get some 7-star units, whether that's a Mago, a Kraka, a Dusky, anything like that. There's so many great DPS units that we have in the game. You can go into Naraka, test your damage, see how the leaderboard shakes up, and start rerolling traits from the top down. Usually that's going to be Mago. After that, probably Zaratu or Trinity, Jaeger, all of those are in the mix. And try to get some decent rolls on them. And let me let me skip through this just for the sake of time. Alrighty, and that didn't take too long, but we got four max trait rolls here. I know that some people don't love this attack, but I'm fine with settling for it. It took us just over 100k dice. Realistically, that's pretty good luck. You can definitely get pretty unfortunate and see upwards of 300k, 400k for these rolls. But just the bonuses you'll see from this, even if you're rolling just red traits for the rest of these, I'd say it would probably be worth just to max these four just because of how cheap it can be. If you have a bit more dice or if you're getting good roll, I'd say it's fine to roll for the fifth max, or you could even settle for something that's, say this is 32, so the second bar will be 36. I'd say it's fine settling for the 36% as well, but it does get more and more expensive, so just keep that in mind. So just by doing this, I'd say you can start to maximize your traits, and especially as you get better, uh, I guess as you get more dice, you can always come back to these to re-roll them. But that's generally how I've been doing my unit traits. And I think it does make a difference, especially in Naraka. Like I probably do want to reroll Sabrina's traits. Um, but most of my units, they'll have 4 or 5 max roll traits. Lima, I'll probably want to redo as well. And this is just beneficial for giving a higher ceiling for your damage. So do this, and it should help you in terms of progression, in terms of maximizing your damage output. And hopefully you guys find this guide helpful. It's been pretty fun for me to test. In the end, crit rate is just a bit too expensive, but I'd say crit rate, crit damage is fine as well. And throw in attack there if you're a little stingy and want to save on dice. Take care and take it easy, guys.